Today's adventure takes place off of Abundant Road in Dalton, Georgia, in the industrial side of town, where we're going to make our way over to a particular gas station to share some history that starts out at Shell gas station. Hello my friends, Mr. Nomad Ben here. So we're starting today's adventure here at the Shell gas station off of Abundant Road. This is kind of a newer Shell gas station. It's been here for, I think, maybe about a little less than a decade now. But it's a really nice little Shell gas station. But we're starting here to share a little bit of history about Shell, but eventually leading into a spin-off of something that's a lot bigger. We're going to talk about a little bit of Cracker Barrel history here in Dalton. So as you guys know, I went to my very first Cracker Barrel in Lebanon, Tennessee, where it all started. But we're going to expand more of the history because I want to take you to the very first Cracker Barrel location that happened here in Dalton. So we're going to start out here at Shell and make our way into the first location of the first Cracker Barrel. And here we go.
It's all about where you've been, Nomad Ben. Tell us all about the finer points of living in your traveling. Food, beer, history, nature quest. Every corner of this world to the great Midwest. Tell us all about where you've been, Nomad Ben.
And as I'm filming this particular vlog, it is 2023, and currently gas is at $3.39 a gallon, unless you have cash. It's $3.29 a gallon. And here is what the Shell looks like here. You know, over there at the Shell, they've been trying to build a restaurant over there for quite some time, but it has just not been picking up. But I think they were trying to build it during the pandemic, and we all know what happened during that time. And a little bit of history about the Shell gas station company. It was founded in 1897 by the Samuel brothers in, I believe, England, Marcus and Samuel in the 1890s. And eventually, about 72 years later, this company would have a worker by the name of Dan Evans, who had a vision of taking these gas stations, but to a whole new level. And as I explained before, Dan Evans is the founder and CEO at the time of Cracker Barrel, who used his connections with Shell gas station company to make the first Cracker Barrel in Lebanon, Tennessee. I have documented my experience at the first location of Lebanon, Tennessee's Cracker Barrel. But as you can see here, we're at a Shell, and here is a restaurant that's been trying to get a start here in Dalton. And I hope one day we'll have a restaurant here, because they were going to do, I believe, Jerusalem Grill here, and it did not go through. And I was kind of looking forward to that because I like Mediterranean, Middle Eastern food. But kind of the same concept of the Cracker Barrel, but except Dan Evans' vision was to have more of a country store and a country style cooking off of the interstate. And before we head on over to the very first Cracker Barrel location, I think it's only appropriate that I fill up my car with some gas here at the Shell Gas Company. So currently, like I said earlier, the gas is actually $3.39 a gallon. This is just for the cash price. I was going to fill up my car and kind of explain the gas price history of Shell gas and all that. So back in 1969, if you were going to buy gas at the Shell gas station off of Cracker Barrel, it would have been about 34 cents a gallon. With inflation, it would have been up to $1.65 up until 2011, but we all know what the price of gas is now. But if you kind of look at the price point here, so nearly about 9.5 gallons of gas cost about $32.10. And bringing it down to the 1969 prices, it would have been roughly about $3.40 to a gallon of gas for a whole tank of gas. So it just kind of shows you what the prices would have been to compare and contrast. So, yep. Well, currently we're on 75 North, heading toward the Dalton Rocky Face exit, and this is the direction that we need to go on to find the very first Cracker Barrel before it moved off of Walnut and Market Street, right behind us. Pulled off into the Wendy's restaurant parking lot for the time being, because we are right off of where we need to be to find the first Cracker Barrel. As over there behind those cars and all that, that will be the Interstate 75 going north and southbound. But you got off of the Dalton Rocky Face exit and head toward the city of Rocky Face off of Chattanooga Road. And a little Tibbs Road right there. You can see the Baymont and the Motel 6. But you will see a sign right over here, which currently says Carpet Town. But back in the day, that sign would actually be the classic Shell gas station sign. So we're going to make our way right toward that sign, where we're going to find the very first Cracker Barrel in Dalton, Georgia. My friends, we have made it to the Los Pablos Mexican Restaurant Bar and Grill, right into the heart of Rocky Face as you get off the interstate. So right here on Chattanooga Road, as you head down that direction into the town of Rocky Face and Tunnel Hill. And there's the Motel 6. Here's the Shell gas station sign. And my friends, I have found the original location of the very first Cracker Barrel here in Dalton, Georgia. It's kind of ironic that how the first Cracker Barrel in Lebanon, Tennessee that started the company in 1969 had converted into a Mexican restaurant. And even the one here in Dalton, before it moved onto Walnut Avenue, this was once the first Cracker Barrel in Dalton before it moved, and then it converted to Los Pablos. But it's definitely left a little history behind the first Cracker Barrel here in Dalton. Of course, I'll leave a picture up here so you can kind of see it for a second. Kind of compare and contrast where the old Shell sign would be right here. And then there's the original design of the building. We'll kind of get a closer look in a second, but there's some people out here eating and enjoying their lunch. But these little lampposts here, they're definitely in the era, just by looking at it, there's no way that these are kind of modern type lampposts right here. So these guys have, my calculations, has definitely been the time when this was definitely a Cracker Barrel. And where my calculations of the gas pump should be somewhere in the parking lots, probably right here or right here is where the gas pumps should be, where the Shell pumps would be. So if you are driving a long distance off of 4176, or I don't know when 75 was created, but even if you're going down 75 at the time, and whenever it was still here, you get pull off, fill up your gas right here, and head on inside to get yourself a delicious home-cooked southern meal at this Cracker Barrel, way before it went on to the Walnut Avenue location, which would be down more that direction. And as we got right here, we kind of see the old design of what the building looked like as you saw in the picture. You still got the posts where it would be. Then you make your way down there. So just kind of imagine just kind of what a Cracker Barrel would look like back in the day. And now turned into Los Pablos. That is very cool. So as you can see here, this is kind of what the old posts of the first Cracker Barrel was like. And people would just go here, relax, and get ready for some home cooking. And I actually spoke with the owner of the establishment, and he wanted to show me the original fireplace that's still here in the restaurant. Let's go ahead and check it out. So the owner allowed me to come inside and film inside his restaurant to show me some of the originalities still left in this Cracker Barrel. And as we can see here, here is the original fireplace of the first few handfuls of Cracker Barrels that were here. And just kind of looking at this and the old stone design. So many fires have been burnt in this fireplace and now converted into some delicious Mexican goodness of food. I'm not going to go in there, but he took me inside, but the kitchen is still exactly the same as when they purchased this establishment from Cracker Barrel, and the equipment is still running the way it is back in the 1970s and still fresh today. This is very, very cool. Really cool Cracker Barrel history. Wow. Yeah, I think I got that painting of Jesus too. And check this out, we got an old tiny motorcycle and the king himself. Hey, tell your owner of the establishment, thank you very much for letting me film in here. God bless America. Thanks, Elvis. So the owner of the establishment told me, but as I was walking out, he just told me to vlog a little bit more as I leave. These are actually original doors when he purchased the place. It's not the original paint, but it's obviously painted over, but these are the original doors here. And on this side, a little different from the Cracker Barrels that we know today. So this is actually the original gift shop where the Cracker Barrel would sell their knickknacks and toys and anything for the public to come in. Now it is just now a quaint little bar in here, but just imagine this room being filled with all the good things that you see at Cracker Barrel today. But this is just absolutely beautiful. I'm really happy that I got to have an opportunity to do something like this. But this is still keeping of the originality here in this restaurant. This is very cool. And of course, this is probably where, after you got done eating, you pay your cashiers right here. And that, my friends, takes us back in time into the 1970s when this was one of the very few Cracker Barrels that were here in America. As you guys know, I went back into Lebanon, Tennessee a while back with my friend Chet. I found the very first Cracker Barrel. Like I said, ironically turned into a Mexican restaurant. And then I found out through a subscriber of mine and also a coffee buyer of mine who had told me that he actually worked at the very first Cracker Barrel in Dalton before it moved over there on Walnut Avenue, and this was the location. And I just had to do something to bring some awesome Cracker Barrel history to my YouTube channel in my town of Dalton, of the very first handfuls of Cracker Barrels before they started expanding more in the mid to the late 1970s. But these were the very few ones that started out between 1969 and 1973. There's a friend of mine that told me about this. He said that he worked at this Cracker Barrel when he was a young gun from 1971 to 1973 before they decided to go ahead and move down. And eventually, when this was an abandoned building, then the owner, he purchased it from Cracker Barrel and then converted to what it is today. But it was so nice of Ricky, who owns this place. I want to shout out to him for to say thank you to let me go inside and document the experience of what little time capsule, what's left of the original Cracker Barrel. Also want to shout out to Wayne S., like I said, my coffee buyer and my subscriber, for telling me about this place so I could bring some awesome content to you guys. But the first Cracker Barrel that was here in Dalton back in the 1970s before it moved on to Walnut Avenue. So I don't really need to go to the new location. We all should know what a Cracker Barrel looks like inside and the delicious food that it sells. So we're going to end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. If you guys enjoyed it, you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, follow, and hello there. I think somebody actually said hello to me when they walked by, so, because I think it's heard hello Ben. Anyway, you guys know what to do. If you guys feel like you want to contribute more, you can always buy me a coffee. You leave the information there. And also, all those who have support, thank you very much. I'll see you guys in some future episodes. Eat well and keep your mind walking. I'll see you guys later. This was a fun vlog. This really made my day to film this adventure. I'll see you guys later. And I've shared this before. I'm a former vlog of mine of a little town exploration. But here at this Baymont Inn and Suites, I believe it was this spot right here that used to be the restaurant called the Hot Spot Lounge. This is good old bar food and beverages. I've only heard about this. I did not actually go there because this was before my time. I lived in Dalton. I'll see you guys in the next one. You know, the amount of years I lived in the Dalton area, I have never noticed there's actually palm trees right in the parking lot of the Baymont Inn and Suites. I guess they want to bring a little bit of Florida into this small carpet town.